Okay. Jasper. Don't bite me, I swear I'll kick you. I won't kick you. Just playing. Do you want to come inside? It's like really cold. I guess you do have fur, but you've been out here for like all day. You left this morning. Whatever. We have to see Nat, man. Nat's a big cat. It's like Jasper's sister. It's just such a fat cat. They eat rats, too. Are you a rat killer, Jaspy? He's on cocaine. He's like a hyper cat, man. He's just like always looking around and attacking stuff. But he's cute. So yeah. It's time for the training arc. Not training arc, but they're training in the training camp, yeah. So they would get there. And when they get there, or get to a point, they'll be on the bus, of course, talking and doing stuff. But it'll stop. And as I would tell them that they have 3 hours left to get there, which would set off some people saying that they forget that's only a 2-hour drive, not 3 hours, and we're almost there. It's right over there, so why would it take 3 hours? So they would go out. They would go outside the bus saying, take a break, stretch your legs. They would get out there, and they were just sitting out there on the edge looking over and all that. And this is when the car would pull up with 3 people walking out with 1 kid still in the back of the car. This is how I would say these are the Pussycats, and they're here to assist me with your training. So they would be there, they would introduce themselves and start talking. And this is when they would say good luck with one of the Pussycats throwing her hand onto the ground, making it all fall down. So yeah. Deku would already clarified what his power was, of course Aizawa knows, but nobody in the class knows he can do stuff other than just weapons. So Deku would have created a pillar to keep himself from falling, and he would have went down with them, jumping down, with people being confused. He would hit the ground and create his arm again, and he would walk forward, stabbing his hand, and they would be told to run and defeat them all, which they would start doing. Which, in this one, I'm upgrading the girl's quirk. You know how Twice has the ability to copy people and copy their quirks, but their durability is way down. The girl has the same abilities, pretty much. Okay, I gotta do these quick since apparently we're going out to eat to get Asian fusion. But yeah. So I have to do these quick where I can at least finish the series. But okay, so yeah, they would start going through. Oh yeah, her quirk, it lets her copy people, but it costs more stamina than Twice. But her true ability where she shines in is that she can copy monsters. Stronger they are, pretty much. The more stamina it takes out of her, and all that. So they would make it through since Deku's there. And now, Deku's not just gonna use his blade and nothing else. So what Deku would have did was stepped forward. My God, cat, can you get off top of that? Oh my God, he about jumped on me. Of course. But yeah, so he is doing he's doing more work pretty much. But he would step forward, summoning Reagan, which people know who Reagan is. And this is whenever other wolves would pop out, looking similar to Reagan, but Reagan does have different features than them that distinct them, bigger, different patterns on his fur. And all that. So they would rush out and they would just start destroying the golems, which he still has the ability to make. But while they're going, they would see clones of all the pussycats in Aizawa going through there, saying that they're going the wrong way, waving towards them. While Ida tells them to stop, while Deku says that her quirk lets her do that. It's probably there to throw us off. So don't listen to them and continue to run. They'll just be dashing full throttle since Deku's kind of destroying them while they're being jumped by more. So most of them are running away than anything. But this is whenever they're about 15 miles away. And they'll be running and they see that there's not that many golems attacking them anymore. It seems all of them stop, so they assume that they're close. And they would walk a little bit, and they would come into this field that's completely open with no trees around and no grass growing in that area. This is whenever the pussycats in their car driving would say, "Here's your trial test. I won't go full power with it, but it sure would shake you up to see how much you need to grow to become stronger." She would say salamander, and she would summon the salamander. The salamander would appear, which it is not a regular salamander. It's called the king salamander, pretty much. This one, just like how the golem was, or it has all the elements, of course, and a healing ability. Its features is scaly skin going on it with rainbowed color, pretty much. Each scale has like a different shade of color. They're not the same, any of them. Going down it with a white glowing aura with a horn on it. Its mouth would be breathing out fire, with its horn being red right now. So yeah, at the tip of its tail, it has a black tail. So yeah. So Class 1A would get ready, and they would run in with it open its mouth, and it would shoot a wind blast, which would hit them all back and shoot them out of the area. While Bakugo and I'll say, what's his name, Todoroki are still there. And while still there, they would raise, Todoroki would pull out his hands, which I know I didn't go over the internships. I remember that I said he was going to go to Endeavors, but I decided not to do that. Or I decided to do that, but not tell you what happened. But Todoroki would form an ice sword and a flame sword, with Bakugo clapping his hands together, creating EP shots pretty much in his hands, and get ready. He would first, I would say, Bakugo would jump forward, taking the EP shots, with the lizard swinging, or the salamander swinging its claw at him, with Bakugo throwing the EP shot just like if he would do his explosion, which whenever it makes contact with it, its scales would be blown off and it would put a hole in its palm, which would heal by the white aura and would come back, which would drain the pussycat that created it, which people would see, and the girl that has like a telekinesis quirk or telepathic quirk would see this happen, saying that this is bad. If too much damage be done to it, she would pass out and lose control of it. That's whenever Bakugo would jump up, throwing explosions all the way up its arm, or EP shot explosions, just pretty much huge explosions, you could think of it, that are like plasma going through everything and all that. He would be going through it, he would get to its face, put both its hands together and form it into one big one, slamming it in the forehead of it, just shooting a huge blast. But while that happens, he would be shot by a 5 water blasts to the face and to the stomach and all that, shooting him far back, with the salamander coming back, but on its face and down its body has water armor, you could say. This water armor pretty much protected him from any blows, so from all that power behind it. This is whenever Todoroki would run at it next, grabbing Bakugo and throwing him. Todoroki would take his sword, swinging it onto the water, which would freeze it, and he would take his flame sword and destroy it afterwards, sending it completely to fire. But what he gained the ability of is what he calls elemental switch, where if he can cover somebody in ice, he can instantly change it to fire. So yeah. So it would all change to fire in an instant. That it does this, engulf it in flames, and it would burn the salamander, but it would come back. The salamander has no weakness of any elements, but it has no strength over elements, since all of the elements he has can be countered by other elements. So there's always an element that can counter his elements at the time he's using them. So yeah. So this would happen, and then Todoroki would have swung the sword again, shooting or creating ice pillars, stabbing into the thing, into its palm, all the way up its arm, with the pussycat blacking out for a moment, hitting its head against the car, but she would wake up again because they're trying to make sure she doesn't go to sleep and all that, which they're telling her to pull it off, but she has no punching over it anymore. So it continue to go on with Todoroki swinging his blade, shooting attacks, which Todoroki would have got shot by lightning bullets instead, and got shot, hurting him, but he would get up and he would put out his hands, which I would say more like a green colored, like bluish green colored fire would appear, and he would have took this, and I would say his right side is his dad's and his left side is his mom, but it would appear on his left side and he would spin, shooting the fire into a big braid. But whenever the fire touches anything, it instantly freezes This is Todoroki's absolute zero fire, and he throws his ice, which he swings over, and it would stab it. It would pretty much melt through everything and set things on fire easily, which he would stab into the back of, or into the stomach of the salamander, burning it. But of course the salamander would have breathed in for 1 second and shot another wind blast that shot him backwards and back, which Bakugo would catch him back where he's not in debt to him. They think of comboing him, just how Deku could bind his fire with Bakugo's Counter Impact. They would do the same move, but it would be called, instead of Bakugo being thrown, Todoroki would have been thrown, taking his blades, and he would do that mixture ability with his red ice and green-blue fire spinning, and he would be circling it. Todoroki would stick out his hands at the end of it, saying impacting spear, with the icicle going, or the red icicle going into it, back of it, and fires, or the icy fire would hit it, creating a huge ball or fire coming off of it and ice sort of thing. But this is whenever the pussycat would fall asleep, with the thing breaking off, and it would just be the salamander with them too exhausted, and Deku would say it's my turn, creating his long blade, and one horn would appear. Hey there, Nat. Sorry, something happened, but yeah, he would create it with his one horn coming off of it, which it would have red line going through it, just like his arm does in this picture, and all that. So Deku would have took the blade and charged towards it. He would swing it with the thing shooting wind, which Deku would create black lightning, cutting straight through it and dispersing it completely. Oh my god. Oh, where is it? Sorry about that, I didn't notice it. But yeah. So he would have dispersed it, cutting it. It would shoot fire this time, which he would counter with his own fire, dispersing it with one swing, with it shooting a lightning blast, which Deku would have sticked out his arm, which he would take head on, completely dispersing it and deflecting it with it. This is whenever Deku's blade, he would have took it head on, and this is whenever his blade, instead of just being fire, it would define into a solid like blade, like how his arm is, and he would take one swing, this is whenever the salamander would stop, and everything would stop for a moment with a big gust of wind, and the salamander would be dead from one slash from Deku's true power. But yeah, this is the end of the What If, or right now. Goodbye.